Meet Gabriel Geip, a Antifa extremist high school teacher.
Probably as far left as you can go.
An undercover organization named Veritas gave Gabriel Geip an interview. He admitted in this interview that in 180 days, he turns every one of his students into Antifa extremists. He openly admits that his tool for doing this is using fear and propaganda.
I have 180 days to turn them into revolutionaries.
How do you do that? How do you
Scare the fuck out of them.
He even has an Antifa flag on the wall.
Like I have an Antifa flag on my wall.
He likes to call all of his students that disagree with him fascists if they find the Antifa flag uncomfortable.
And a student complained about that, and he said it made him feel uncomfortable. Well, this is meant to make fascists feel uncomfortable, so if you feel uncomfortable, I don't really know what to tell you.
Remember, he wants all of his students to become Antifa members, and he wants all Antifa members to take up arms against the government.
Why aren't people just like taking up arms? Like why are we, and you know, we have taking up arms like against the state. And we have historical examples of that happening and them getting crushed and being martyrs for a cause.
While he's asking his students why Antifa aren't taking up arms against his own government, he points out that some do, and it's okay and it's good because they become a martyr for the cause. By using his ability to affect his students' grades, he encourages his students to go to Antifa rallies and participate, even in the front lines if they have to. Then he goes on and claims that he's not the only teacher that's like this, that there's many others.
I have like students show up for like protests, community events, you know, tabling, food distribution, all sorts of things. So like and I do it for extra credit, so they get points for doing it. When they go, they take pictures, they write up a reflection. That's their extra credit. If you
Are there a lot of teachers like you?
I think there's more than there used to be, and I think that like there's 3 other teachers in my department that I did my credential program with, and they're rad. They're great people, and they're definitely like on the same page.
So apparently he has some sort of political compass in his classroom where all of his students are on the political compass. And the more they become more indoctrinated, the further left they become on the compass, and the more extra credit points they get.
Them revolutionaries, they've got TikTok, they've got
Right.
Instagram, they've got this.
Well, that's just it. It's like utilize that propaganda,
Yeah.
right? Like these are all great tools on how to get. You know, it's like I've met so many people in my life who, when they met me, thought I was like off the wall, right? And now they're all Marxists, right? You know, and I'm just like, your political identification changed, and I have a huge political spectrum in my room on the wall. So they take an ideology quiz in their unit 4, and I put their face, or they have to give me a picture of themselves, and I put it on the wall where they are. Every year they get further and further left. And I've made them pay attention to where my tack marks are, because I'm like, these ideologies are considered extremes, right? Extreme times breed extreme ideologies, right? There is a reason why Generation Z, these kids, are becoming further and further left.
This is absolutely sick because these people aren't indoctrinating their own kids. They're indoctrinating your kids. What the hell? This aggression will not stand, man. It's one thing if you want to teach your kids certain values, but it's a completely another to brainwash someone else's kid. And the teachers in these schools definitely will try to brainwash your kids. We've seen it 1,000 times. We've seen it in this very video. And these kids are impressionable because they never hear about politics before they go to school. They go to school and they hear these ideas that they never heard before, and they just assume they're right because an older person is telling them it's right. So they get indoctrinated and they start believing things that aren't true because their teacher told them it's true. Oh, my teacher taught me this, this, and this, and this, and taught me everything I know. They must be right about politics. No, that's a completely different thing. We know just because they have a basic understandings of mathematics and science and history doesn't necessarily mean that they're 100% right about politics. Most of them are wrong about politics. That's exactly why they shouldn't be brainwashing your kids about politics. It's your responsibility to teach them what's right and what's wrong, and teach them things that you believe that are correct about the world. And that includes politics. That's your responsibility to do that. You may say, well, I don't want to brainwash my kids. You're not brainwashing your kids. They have already heard the left-wing agenda at school. They're hearing it from their teachers every day. You're only letting them know the other side of the story, that a lot of what they hear is wrong. And that's okay. Don't force your right-wing beliefs on your kid. Don't force them. Just let them figure it out themselves. But arm them with information of what you believe to be true. That's literally half of what being a parent is. That way they can compare it to the other side, and they could determine on their own what's best for them. But if you're not homeschooling your kid and you're just bringing them to public school, believe me, all the students, all the teachers, the principal, everyone that's at that school is teaching them to be a left-winger. You have to remember, it's not just the schools that are trying to brainwash them. It's the mainstream media, too. So, I mean, do I have to say this? I mean, chances are they're going to become a left-winger, a left-wing extremist. I mean, that's possible. That's very possible. I mean, if that's what you want, I guess that's fine, but no one's teaching them the principles of liberty. So they have no way to defend against the brainwashing. So, I mean, you need to teach them the principles of liberty if you're not doing so right now. The best solution is to homeschool them. If you can't homeschool them, then when they get home from school, teach them the basics of liberty. Spend that extra time. It doesn't take long. But Daps, that's hard. Yeah, that it is hard. It's very hard. And they have books that will help with that. Like, for example, the Tuttle Twin books. These Tuttle Twin books are really actually useful. They help you explain the importance of liberty. They teach you the dangers of socialism. They teach you about how the Federal Reserve works. They literally teach your child every little thing that they need to know to prepare themselves from the brainwashing to come. To save this country, we need to have more liberty-minded people. Okay, you may say, oh, well, voting doesn't make a difference. And having people in the government that want less government, like Ron Paul's, don't make a difference. They do make a difference. But not just that. I mean, if we taught everybody the basics of liberty, then we would have a much smaller government because everybody would stop advocating for such a big government. When the government uses fear tactics to increase its size and scope, we would give them the middle finger and they wouldn't be able to have power. We literally fund them. They can't grow without our consent. So that is literally the solution. To save the country, we need more liberty-minded people. And believe it or not, the only way to do that is by teaching them liberty. It's not that hard, guys. If you guys want to check out those Tuttle Twin books, link in the description box. Use my link. I get a little kickback. I really appreciate the extra help. Sincerely. They have rave reviews. They are very helpful in teaching kids about the importance of liberty. And let's be honest here. Nothing is more important than liberty. Okay, guys. Link in the description box. Check out the books. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Later.
Hey parents, kids like us have a problem, and it's one that you can help solve.
But most parents aren't even aware the problem exists.
Here's the issue. Most schools today aren't teaching young kids some really important concepts, like how the economy works, or what our rights are, or the definition of true laws.
Back before you were born, schools often taught the principles of a free society.
But not anymore. That's why our parents have us read
The
Tuttle
Tuttle
Twins. These books teach children about economic and civic truths that we need to learn, and there's nothing else like them in the world.
Each book covers a different topic, helping us learn how the world really works.
For example, these books teach kids things like how the free market is the key to prosperity, the history of the money we use, what our rights are and why we should protect them, how kids can be entrepreneurs.
I definitely want to be my own boss someday, and these books will help.
Kids like us absolutely love these books. Maybe because they don't treat us like little children. Instead, they help us learn important ideas and develop critical thinking skills.
Chances are your kids are missing out on learning these things, especially in a way that's fun and enjoyable for the whole family.
And even better, when you buy this set, you also get the awesome activity workbooks for free!
Now listen, there are a lot of crazy ideas out there, and you need to prepare your kids.
Yeah, if you want to raise a free thinker, you're gonna need something that teaches about freedom.
So purchase your books now!
And remember to order from Dapperton's link. Every purchase supports Dapperton's channel. The bigger the purchase, the more kickback the Daps. So, buy a big bundle.